morning, everybody. Greetings, everyone, from Atlanta International Airport. I just disembarked from my inbound flight from Orlando on the 767, and now I'm about to head over to Chicago here on the 717-200. Anyways, my inbound flight just arrived into Concourse E, being one of two international terminals here in Atlanta, and I have to head over to Concourse B for the next flight, so I took the plane train to head over there. I have roughly a 90-minute connection, plus an extra 15 minutes as my inbound flight had landed ahead of schedule. This was enough time for me to find my gate, relax, phone some family, and grab some lunch on the way. Connections here in Atlanta are very straightforward, and all concourses T, A, B, C, D, E, and F are connected post-security, so linguistically you don't need to re-clear security to switch between concourses.
This airport is smoke-free. Please visit ATL.com/smoking ban for options in ATL.
Please hold on. This train is stopping. Please collect your belongings and watch your step as you exit. The next stop is for C gates. C as in Charlie. Please hold on. This train is stopping. Please collect your belongings.
After reaching Concourse B, I decided to have a look at the Forest Walkway, which is located between Concourses B and A. I found this to be really amazing and creative, especially for a large airport like this one. I do recommend checking out this walkway if you have the time to if you're in Atlanta. My gate where my next flight is located today is gate B31, which is located far off near the end of the concourse in Terminal North, which is basically the top half of the concourses, while south is the bottom half. I had a rather long wait until boarding, probably because I reached here a little bit earlier than expected, but here's the aircraft taking us to Chicago today, which is November 997 Alpha Tango. This is an 18.4-year-old Boeing 717-2BD, which was delivered to AirTran Airways on November 15, 2002, and then stored for a while on December 2014, and then shortly after AirTran ceased all operations, transferred to Delta on June 12, 2015. This Boeing 717, also known as the McDonnell Douglas MD-95, has a serial number of 55141 and a line number of 5110. This is the 110th Boeing 717 ever made, and this is also the fifth to last 717 built to Delta. This aircraft is powered by two Rolls-Royce BR715 engines, and Delta has 91 of these 717s in their fleet. That being said, it is time to board our aircraft. Delta 717-200s contain 110 seats in a 3-class configuration. First class consists of 12 seats in a 2-2 configuration that have 37 inches of pitch and 19.6 inches of width, which is roughly a $200 upgrade for this flight. Next up is Comfort Plus, with 20 seats in a 2-3 configuration, offering 34 inches of pitch and 18.1 inches of width. These go for an extra $30 for this flight. And then Main Cabin with 78 seats, also in a 2-3 configuration, which have 31 inches of pitch and 18.1 inches of width. Now here's where a huge conflict arrives. My seat was originally 26A, which I reserved online when I paid for this flight, but in order to accommodate a family, my seat was switched to 26E, which was the opposite window. But that really isn't the problem. What was the problem was when I arrived at my seat, the window was jammed and I wasn't able to open it. This really got me a little bit agitated, so I reported this to the flight attendant, and she was willing to help out. And then she reported this to the captain, then the gate agent in Atlanta came onto my aircraft. Very disrespectful when I was trying to explain the situation. So I politely moved back, and then when she left and boarding was complete, the flight attendants allowed me to move up to 25A, as this was still available. I appreciated the flight attendants for taking action on this matter. Now in a few minutes, we would be on our way to Chicago. As far as COVID precautions are concerned, it was equally as good as my previous flight. Middle seats are blocked, especially for the 2-seaters, like on both the aircraft I flew on, and wipes were handed out upon boarding. It's good to see Delta taking precaution even on smaller jets like this one.
Alright. Very normally, I know that oxygen is flowing, even if the bag does not inflate. Just carry your own mask before helping others. Or between your seats. To use, remove the vest from its container by pulling on the tab and then open the pouch. Pull the vest over your head, fasten the strap to the front of the vest, and pull on the strap to adjust the vest securely around your waist. After exiting the aircraft, inflate the vest pulling down on the red tab at the bottom of the vest, or manually inflate by blowing into the tube at shoulder level. A water-activated light is attached to each vest. Seat cushions can also be used for flotation. Instructions for operation are outlined on the safety information card in your seat pocket. Please refer to the safety information card for instructions on how to use the life vest for children who weigh less than 35 pounds. If necessary, we'll distribute life vests for in-lap children. Now before we take off, please be sure your seat backs are upright, tray tables and carrying items are stowed, and the eye armrest is lowered. Then take a moment to review the safety information card in your seat pocket. As we complete our final safety checks, let us know if you have any questions, and we'll do everything we can to ensure you have a safe and relaxing flight today.
So far we are at cruising altitude. I hope you guys enjoyed the engine sounds. So now we got seat literature. The overhead controls are above, and they work very well for their purpose. No problems here. Main cabin seats have 31 inches of pitch and 18.1 inches of width. This seat is also reclinable, but I didn't recline due to the inconvenience posed by the passenger behind me. The leg space here was great, and no problem sitting here as leg space is concerned. The tray table is also good, nothing too special. Seat pocket is also big enough to fit many things. The two things that you'll find in there are the safety card and the sick bag. After a bit, Delta came around with the snack bags, and this is what it was composed of. We also have an adjustable headrest. This was a rather flat headrest, but was still comfortable for the flight of this duration. There is also a universal power outlet. This also comes in handy for a lot of the times, especially for the amount of filming I did throughout the flight and on this and my GoPro camera. I also bought some lunch at a Mexican restaurant in the Concourse in Atlanta to eat on my flight. Delta also has onboard Wi-Fi throughout the flight as well. This Wi-Fi is the same Wi-Fi that you'll get on the CRJs and the E-Jets. The 717 is the only mainline aircraft without personal TVs, but soon Delta will be retrofitting their cabins to have the PTVs. Free messaging is available on all Wi-Fi enabled flights for use with iMessage, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp. There are passes for certain uses of Wi-Fi, and even a free deal for those who are on T-Mobile. I took some rest on this flight, and then soon enough we were actually descending into Chicago. You guys know the drill. I will go back and touch on everything we reviewed so far, as per usual after landing.
short start arrival. Cross-check and I'll call.
Welcome to Chicago. Now it is time to sum up our flight in our review today. So to start off as a reference, both flights from Orlando to Atlanta and then to Chicago costed me only $128, which in my opinion is a great deal considering how expensive one-ways are on Delta. So first off, we're going to start off with the seat. The seat on this flight was overall excellent. The legroom was pretty good for an aircraft this size, the headrest was good, and I also like the 2-3 configuration. Very rare configuration to see nowadays, especially if it's two-seaters, very nice if you travel solo. All the utilities in the seat are well cleaned, comfortable, and are very organized for these 2 hours. I'm going to give a 9 out of 10 for this category. Second off, the safety and cleanliness of the plane. Simply, you'll definitely feel safe on your flight with Delta. They thoroughly clean their planes, they give wipes, they cap their flights, block middle seats, however only on 3-seaters, but that's to be changed soon. And even the snack service is limited in order to reduce contact between flight attendants and the passengers. It's really good to see Delta continue to take COVID-19 seriously, as I said again, even on smaller jets like the 717. So I'm going to give a Delta a 10 out of 10 here. Next up, we have the communication. Now this is something that they did decent with. I have repeatedly gotten text messages and reminders off the app, and I also got a lot of emails on how you could get ready for the upcoming flights and the information and changes, but for some reason I wasn't notified of my seat change until I was given back a ticket before boarding. I will give a 9 out of 10 here because it's something that could be done a little bit better, but nowhere near terrible. After that, we got organization. The organization in Atlanta was very nice and well done. Not much people were there, however, but given that fact, all were paying attention amongst boarding and deboarding, and everything else went very smooth, and everything was excellent. So, for this category, I'm going to give a 10 out of 10. Continuing on, we have the food and the drinks. Now, because of COVID, the food and the drink service did take a big hint, and it was limited, and you will only have water and a few small snacks for this only service for the entire duration. For this flight, I brought some lunch, so it was no problem, but realistically isn't that big of a deal for flights like 2 hours, 1 hour, but for transcontinental flights or longer than 4 hours, please take my advice and bring your own food because that's eventually the only service that you'll have on the flight. I'm going to give this probably an 8 out of 10 because I think they could do definitely better on the food and drinks. Second to last, we have the flight attendants. Now this category was kind of toned down a little bit. The flight attendants were amazing. They did come around to pick up trash constantly, and they were very happy and positive to us, the customers. The gate agent that came on my flight because of this issue was very disrespectful given the situation I was in. But I was very glad the flight attendant in economy was able to help out on this situation that I had with the jammed window. And they also even sent out a survey, which is really good to see what everyone feels about the flight and how they can change up and keep the good stuff. So I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10 here. And finally, we have the in-flight entertainment / Wi-Fi. The in-flight entertainment was not present on this flight, but there is Wi-Fi available only above 10,000 feet. That's mainly for messaging on Facebook Messenger, iMessage, or WhatsApp. So I'm going to give an 8 out of 10 for this category, and that's based off how good the Wi-Fi works and the offerings given on the flight. Overall, this flight was very good on the 717 for this 2-hour flight, and it does deserve a well-given 8 out of 10. Everything in general was done very well, and Delta did a great job with their service on the 717-200. But sadly, it will be set to be retired in 2025, just like what happened to the McDonnell Douglas MD-88 and MD-90 last year, June 2020. I desperately hope these aircraft like this one don't retire. They've had a really good life, and that roar on takeoff that you heard was just something to remember. I also appreciate the work ethic the flight attendants posed and the steps they took to keep the flight safe from one place to another, and I also really liked the experience and the cleaning that was taken on the flight. From everything that I have just mentioned, in general, it is a plane that I would recommend you guys try out before they leave the fleet for good. I anyways landed in Terminal 2 of Chicago O'Hare, and my last of 3 flights back home will be on the United Airlines 757-300 in first class. Stay tuned for that video and a couple of Spirit videos coming out as well. So, in the makings right now, I have the Spirit A320 trip report from Orlando to Detroit. That's the trip I took in November. If you saw my November 681 NK video, that will be the inbound, which was like a week earlier. And then the United 757-300. Then I have a couple of takeoff and landing videos on a March trip that I took, so I'll post that. And if there's any stuff that you want me to do, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will keep that in consideration. So despite the lack of uploads due to school, I appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe, followed by the notification bell alongside the subscribe button to be notified of more videos coming. Leave a comment down below and do share it with everyone as well. More videos are coming on the channel today. It's been me, Orlando Aviation, and I will catch you guys on the next video.